Hi everyone, this is Scurvyfreeze again from Flag Raiders. One of my friends found my video on bean having to be a little bit helpful, so I decided to make a video on whirlpools, which is one of the things that she struggles with, in hopes to shed light on some of the confusions of whirlpools. So, as you can see, I'm in a battle right now. I've put about 10 to 12 cannonballs into that Dow, so it's not going to move for a while, no less disengage. So I'm going to start moving into this whirlpool with the right here. Now, one thing you should notice about whirlpools is that you change, you go around in 90-degree turns. So in one turn, you will change if you're facing north, which is what I would consider the direction the ship is facing now to be. In one turn, so after one move, I'll be facing east or right. And then 2 I'll be facing south, 3 I'll be facing west, and then 4th I'll be facing north again. So there it's east, south, west, and then north again. If you think about that, so for every single turn that you are in a whirlpool, so there's 4 potential turns obviously, you will rotate, your ship will rotate 90 degrees. Now, the way this can be useful is if you're traveling through a whirlpool, you can use that to, in one turn really travel 4 squares. Now, to maneuver through whirlpools, for instance, if I make a left on the second here, I can pop into the other whirlpool. Because as you see, on the second turn I turned there, and if I put it straight, I would have stayed in the same whirlpool. But since I was facing the other way, a left is what got me into the other whirlpool. Now, you see, like, another thing how whirlpools work is that if you move in a whirlpool and you don't move out of the whirlpool, you still move into a space that is contained in the whirlpool. After that move, you will still be spun for that turn. So if I move on the second here, straight, I will end up where my cursor is now, one spot to the left of my sloop, or bottomish left. Yeah, on the second turn, third turn, fourth turn, I end up there. And so that is another thing about whirlpools you must take note, is that you can move in a whirlpool, and if you maintain your ship in the whirlpool, it will still rotate for the turn that you moved. So you will always rotate 4 times if you're staying in a whirlpool. Another technique used in whirlpools is if I just make a right here on the third turn. Hopefully I can show you next turn. I'm going to need quite a few lefts. Well, whirlpools always rotate clockwise. It's a well-known fact by people that most people understand. And so one thing you can do is, let's pretend there's an enemy just about 3 spaces diagonally left of where my cursor is here. What you can do is, if I stay blank on the first turn but put 3 turns in here, and pretend these grapples were shots, I can, I could have put a shot in the first one as well, but I mean, if I use lefts, this, just take note, only lefts. This will not work with rights, because in a whirlpool, since a whirlpool does work, a whirlpool is only moving in a clockwise spin. A right will not give you the same effect as this. However, there are other things you can do with rights in a whirlpool that aren't exactly the same, and that basically is that you can land 3 shots instead of the potential 4, but you won't be using an extra amount of moves. So basically, if you're positioned in the right way, you can use only 1 right, and you can land 3 shots, which is, instead of having the 4 lefts, you would need to land the 4. And so, pretending that there was a ship over here where my cursor is, just to like the top leftish of this whirlpool, I can maneuver it so that I would fire like this. would be able to land 3 shots, because on the first I will spun and I will fire at the side. Shots and grapples always come after you spin. So the order in a whirlpool is actually your move, your spin, your shot or fire. And then I would spin around, which means my ship would be facing south instead of north. And then I could shoot out the side there. And then with the right hand turn, I spin after the turn, and I'm still facing the direction where that ship would be, if the ship was where my cursor is. And so, with one right hand turn as opposed to 4 lefts, or 3 lefts, you can land 3 shots, which is quite move efficient considering. Whirlpools are also good for evading attacks because they spin you out of the way, so if you're in danger, you can just move in a whirlpool and you can spin out of the way. Or if you're in a whirlpool and you're going to be attacked, you can just put a forward in, like if I put a forward on the second here, and it would change your location, so that if someone was trying to shoot on you at a certain place, you would move within the whirlpool if you couldn't move out, if you didn't have the right moves. So whirlpools are not only good for offense, but also for defense. So really, the only thing you have to keep in mind during a whirlpool is that the ship rotates 90 degrees for every turn it's in a whirlpool. And even if the ship can only move 3 turns, like a war brig and such ships that can only move 3 moves, it still rotates 4 times. So for every turn you're in a whirlpool, you will rotate. Like the order I stated earlier, you will have your move. If you move in still within the whirlpool, you'll have a move like the straight I put in the second. Then you will have your spin, and then you will have your shot or grapple. So if you keep those things in mind and just watch your rotation and just stay calm with whirlpools. Yeah, just stay calm with whirlpools. Then everything should be fine. Just watch your rotation, stay calm, and there should be no problems.